Ooh, I hope that I don't even. I'm finding comfort in the chaos. Okay, that's not chaotic enough. Ugh, there we go. Kind of. I don't know. Anyway, today we're gonna do that thing. Today we're gonna use the spread that I've been wanting to use for like the past few days, the past few lives. And so I'm gonna use the Magical Dimensions Oracle cards. It's a 7 card spread. In the book for the Magical Dimensions Oracle cards and activators, today is gonna be a reading day to get the most information that we can, and then we'll see how the information slots and configures together. It is what is this? The Star Key Formation spread. This unique layout called the Star Key Formation is like going on a scavenger hunt for insights. The cards will create building blocks of spiritual attainment. Your quest begins with a question such as, what are the key insights I need in order to move forward? The formation begins with a flicker, but with each radiating arm builds into a brilliant shining star. Once you attain the first key insight, move to the next key, integrate, and keep progressing forward. As you integrate each insight, your situation becomes clearer and you become brighter until you emulate that brilliant shining star. Key one, flicker. I'm just going to read them and then I'll pull and then I'll read them again. Key one, flicker, is your first key insight of the pulse and energy surrounding the entire issue. Key two is spark, the second key insight needed to illuminate your situation, your starting point. Key three, ignite, is the third key insight. This is your initiative fire, momentum, and motivational key. Key four, blaze, is the fourth key insight necessary for creating positive change on your quest. Key five, shine, is the fifth key insight containing the inspiration needed for transformation. Key six, radiate, is the sixth key insight of integration. All previous insights are gathered. Key seven, brilliance, is the seventh key insight, raising your situation to full brilliance and wisdom. It's right there. No, yeah. I thought it was on the other page. There you go. Magical Dimensions, Oracle Cards, and Activators by Lightstar. She has a channel here on YouTube. Ooh, Lightstar, all one word. I mean, I'm assuming her channel name is still Lightstar, and I guess I'm also assuming she's still on YouTube. But I'm like sure she should be, right? So anyway, it's a 7 card spread, but as you can see, there was one card in the middle, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna use the Magical Dimensions as that one card, and then I wanted to use other decks, and I wanted to place them, on each axis. But I know that there are fairies. Excuse me. I know that there are fairies and there are angels in this deck. So I have the Fairy Tarot cards by Radley Valentine. This is like the book. Like I said, we're reading today. And then I have the Archangel Power Tarot cards, also by Radley Valentine. And I think I can't even remember her name. I can't remember her name. The one who Doreen Virtue. There you go. The one who is not in the industry anymore. And then I was trying to think of the third deck. Well, I was trying to think of 2 more, which the math was already off because I thought it would be 9, I guess. But I was like, what else is in this deck? Like there are the 7 chakras. I was like, I don't have a chakra deck. And then I also thought of like there are aliens, star seed. My brain just went aliens. I don't have any like star seed decks either, so I'm going to actually use this deck for the main axis. So it'll be key 1, key 7, and key 4. And then I'm going to shuffle these and I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck, or I'm going to pull the bottom of the deck. The card that has the higher value, I'm going to put on the 2, 5. And then the card of lower value, I'm going to put on the 3, 6. And that'll give me my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. So that's how I'm going to do it today. Excuse me. And like I said, I'm going to be reading the book just to like get as much information as I can. This card I used to see this card all the time. The card of transformation just came out. Metamorphosis, synchronicity, and the unexpected. Bottom of the deck is challenges. Blocks, fears, and negativity, betrayal. But that is not how we are working today. I'm going to give all of these a shuffle. Destiny. Transformation, challenges, destiny. Oh my gosh. See, galactic guidance. There's the aliens. I don't have like starseed decks, you know? I don't have chakra decks either. Cards will not stop flipping over. Trust just came out again, which is 42, 41, 42. And then the solar portal is at the bottom of the deck. When trust flipped over. Speaking of chakras, or me not having a chakra deck, we saw the alien for the decks that I don't have, and we saw a chakra at the bottom for the other deck I don't have. But it's fine. This deck, cut it. It's shuffled. Now let's do the Archangel Power cards. Ooh, I see a rainbow. The 9 and the 7 of Ariel, which is the 9 and 7 of Pentacles, but Archangel Ariel was on the second chakra, Archangel Ariel, in the energy. I have the energy oracle cards. They have chakras. Darn it, I didn't think about it. There are chakras in the energy oracle cards because Ariel is second chakra. But she had that baby. She had blurry face baby. Cool. But I've already made up my mind. So I will not go and get the energy oracle cards. Archangel power cards are shuffled. Now let's get into the fairy tarot cards. I got this deck to read with the Brian Froud fairy oracle. And I did it maybe like once or twice. And that was it. Who knows if I'll do it again in the future. Thank you. Nice and silent. We can cut it there and get this started. So am I going to pull off the top? I'm going to pull off the top, middle, and bottom of the Magical Dimensions Oracle cards and activators to get keys 1, 4, and 7. And I'm putting them face down. Gaian Awakening is under the card at the bottom of the deck. 17 is the star that we've been seeing so often. Also, Pluto is going back into Aquarius. That is another big Aquarius thing that's happening. Pluto is going to its new home of Aquarius. At the top of the year, I feel like. But I could be wrong. So, could be soon. Maybe. Like I said, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong. Gaian Awakening, preparing relocation and ascension. Bada, 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 bada. There's like a wheel here. There's a Triforce and a wheel. The wheel was at the cut when I shuffled the Fairy Tarot the first time. Well, I guess the first time it was the nine. No, that was the Archangel Power cards, Power Tarot cards. It was the wheel and the Six of Winter, I think. Is the Six of Winter the Six of Swords? Because that's another repeat card. Six of Swords in this star, I guess, have been coming out. 122. Not this starting on 122 when I was talking about the 1222 weights. So of the mind and intellect. So yes, it is swords. The element of air. Wow. Oh my gosh. Imagine that. Okay. But anyway, so I have these three. We're going to put our Gaian Awakening here. I have so much less space when like a third of it is taken up by this laptop. I guess maybe not. It's fine. Excuse me. So now we look at the bottoms of the fairy. Oof, we got a king, the king of spring. That's pretty high. That is pretty high. Innovative, inspiring, wise, and theatrical is the king of spring. A financial windfall. Your leadership skills are needed now. An unexpected supporter of your cause. And then Gaian Awakening had no. What was unexpected? There was something unexpected, right? It was the first card that came out. Aliens, chakras. Was it unexpected on one of these cards? It wasn't trust. No, I'm like, what was that card? 41, 42. What was 41? Transformation. That's what it was. I was like, I can remember the number, but I can't remember the card. See? Transformation and trust. The unexpected. There it is. And she is high key giving fairy energy. I'm like, where did I literally just put that card? An unexpected supporter of your cause. The king of spring. Interesting. Almost sort of low key, giving me again New Year energy. Almost. There's the Capricorn New Year, the Aquarius New Year, and the Aries New Year. Bottom of the Archangel. If it's another king or a major, I'll take it. Well, I guess I said numerical. Even though the king doesn't have a number, it's fine. We have in reverse. Is this deck in reverse? No. Well, there's a queen. A knight and a queen. The Knight of Raphael. Romantic, dramatic, poetic, and introspective. Committed romantic relationships, being swept off your feet, situations or topics that make your heart flutter. An unexpected supporter and something that'll make your heart flutter? What? So the fairies are first. Although we were in the court, like both of them are like, given the presence, the energy of presence with like a court card, a person showing up. So this is going to be 2 and 5. And then this is going to be 3 and 6. So we have our spread on the table. Am I going to timestamp this? Sure. I mean, I'm going to say roughly 15 minutes. I don't feel like typing. I'm not that lazy. I didn't feel like typing, but intro 0000 begin 15:38. So this is where we begin, and I am not just talking to fill the time until I hit the save button. I said I wasn't, but I was. So if this is where you join me or resume or begin again or come back, revisit, I don't know. I'm going to read this. I'll read it overall and then I'll read it step by step. So again, this unique layout called the star key formation. It's a spread in this book, not that one, this one. It's like going on a scavenger hunt for insights. The cards will create building blocks of spiritual attainment. Your quest begins with a question such as, what are the key insights I need in order to move forward? The formation begins with a flicker, but with each radiating arm builds into a brilliant shining star. Once you attain the first key insight, move to the next key, integrate, and keep and keep the first key insight. My eyes read the line and then went to the beginning of the line instead of the next line. But it feels like once you attain the first key insight, move to the next key, integrate, and keep the first key insight. So maybe it's like I read it that way to like emphasize as we go through the spread, we keep what we gained because it's the combined luminosity from each arm that make the star as radiant as it is in totality, right? It's not like one part goes dark while another part lights up. It's just they light up sequentially or subsequently. But I'll read it the way that it's written. Once you attain the first key insight, move to the next key, integrate, and keep progressing forward. As you integrate each insight, your situation becomes clearer and you become brighter until you emulate that brilliant shining star. Now I feel like I need another card or another deck that's like the integrate. How do we integrate, or is there any advice in integrating this key into the previous? If I really wanted to build this out, or if I really wanted to be here all day, I would pull one subsequently. Like, what is the integrating point with the previous key? And what's the integrating point with the key before that and the key before that? So, like on key 4, there would be how does it integrate back to key 3, but also how does it integrate to key 2? How does it integrate to key 1? So that, like, we could sort of build it out into a network of its totality or whatever. But I'm already tired, so I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna be here all night. But it's like, since I had the thought to do it, I'm like, that's too much. Because then by the time I get to 7, it'll be 7 to 6, 7 to 5, 7 to 4, 7 to 3, 7 to 2. I'm not gonna integrate any of them to one besides. Oh, I feel like I should though. Not today. Like, I'm already reading books, right? So I feel like I don't necessarily need to like read the book and pull a card to see how it integrates back. Also, this is general and collective, but mostly general, I guess. So the ways that they like, I don't necessarily feel the need to like go through every single excruciating detail. You know what I mean? Like, you are all very capable, and I don't have to do that. If it applies and resonates, then it is resonance that will illuminate pathways to integration between these for you, right? Or at least that's what I say, but also, like, right. Although sometimes, maybe we do need a little help, but I also feel like this should be like 3 dimensional. Like, I feel like this arm should like come up and out, and this arm should like go back into but we're dealing with the limitations of, this flat desk that I have. That might as well be 2 dimensional. It's a 2 dimensional surface that is elevated off of the ground. Because, I mean, I could do this and I can do this, but I can't put cards into the table. So that third dimension is lost because it's a solid surface. Speaking of dimensions, magical dimensions, oracle cards and activators. Okay, let's get started. So, key number 1. Flicker is your first key insight of the pulse and energy surrounding the entire issue. There's no question, by the way. This is just like general, like generally, whatever, right? So, key number 1, flicker is harmonic resolution. Number 19, negativity, anger, and transmutation. The top of this harmonic resolution is giving me the energy of revolution from yesterday. Because of the oil rigs and like the fires and stuff, it was very like red, orange, yellow. I would have used the Starman Tarot as the aliens, but I don't have it anymore. And if I did, I wouldn't have used it. So, harmonic resolution is our flicker. The card said it, not me. Number 19, harmonic resolution, negativity, anger, and transmutation. Transmutation when we just had transformation, number 41, come out. And then we have an unexpected supporter of your cause in the King of Spring. Spring being like, spring giving me like new birth energy. Not new birth. I guess, yeah, new birth. But it's like a lot of what blossoms in spring was dormant in winter. Or it's like it was pre-existing. Or the first of spring is giving me like pre-existing energy. Like first are the things that were dormant in the dead of winter. Next is the group of things that come into being, like that were conceived in that season, I guess. But like the very first is something that was already there, just waiting for the time to strike, waiting for the environment to be right. Harmonic resolution resonates to the thickness and heaviness of the lower dimensions. This can cause disturbance and scattering of energies and over identification with emotions of frustration, anger, isolation, and confusion, which disrupts the auric field. Divine light codes transmute these emotions, diffusing and disarming lower emotional states, and return the auric field to harmony, peace, and serenity. You need to acknowledge some of the lower level emotions, hidden negativity, frustration, and confusion that may be a factor right now. Release any excuse me. Release any unfocused and distracting mental chatter. Breathe deeply and diffuse excessive mental and emotional energies to regain your balance. You may also have attracted people in your life who are operating from lower vibrations, and you need to disconnect from this. Companion crystals are rhodonite and shungite. Companion essential oil is Palo Santo. So, what's interesting about this card of harmonic resolution is, though, because it's talking about like all of these lower vibrations and stuff like that, right? lower emotions, lower vibrations, thickness and heaviness. But to me, it's like the most serene part of this card is at the bottom. Like it's so like busy and chaotic and everything up here that like I don't know, there's a at least an ease and a comfort it feels like down here to me. And so maybe it's about settling in. So this is our first key insight. The pulse and energy surrounding the entire issue, harmonic resolution. There are things that are being resolved, things that are being transmuted, things that are being changed. Negativity and anger are present, but then Gaia and Awakening is at the bottom over here. And we see strange language present in both of these cards. You can see it almost more down here again than like up there, but it is present up there, I guess. This is very like Starman Tarot energy. I think there's also, and this is going to be like a limitation of the perspective that the book was written from. Because there are many, many, many ways to look at many, many, many things. And we can't always necessarily encapsulate all of them into any non-extensive or exhaustive form of whatever, right? Like for the overall purpose and goal of what this was to accomplish, this anger is like bad or negative. But anger and dissatisfaction can be tools that can bring about peace and comfort. It also mentions transmutation, right? So, excuse me. It's like maybe sometimes action is the transmuter of anger. So we got some things that are changing right in time for the new year. What's your resolution? Leave it in the comment down below. I can't stop myself sometimes. I'm on this platform. Key number 2, spark. The second key insight needed to illuminate your situation, your starting point. So the energy surrounding the issue and the pulse is resolution. It's both at the heart of the issue and surrounding it, resolution. Our starting point, the spark, is the magician. You can do anything. Take charge of your life. You can manifest what you need to be a success. This is a magician that appears to only be wielding 2 things. There's a staff and a star, or an orb, like a focus, like an arcane focus. And this said, unfocused energy. Release any unfocused and distracting mental chatter. Girl, so we're going arcane with this. We're going wizard. I'm playing, I think I mentioned it, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 with the bestie that I do the podcast with, the Tranquilities podcast. And in D&D, there are certain spells that require concentration, right? It's like you cast the spell and the effect lasts for an extended period of time or indefinitely, as long as you have, as long as you're concentrating on it. Now, a good wizard, a good magic user, because it's like it's clerics, it's sorcerers, warlocks, everybody. Basically, if you can cast a spell, even some people that don't cast spell, like if it requires concentration, it requires concentration. But it's almost like a good or a master, an arch wizard, an arch bishop, priest, arch, whatever, can either, I don't know if this is according to the game, but in my brain, can either concentrate on multiple things all at once, but at the very least can maintain their concentration while they do other things, right? Like if your character casts something that you have to concentrate on, maybe depending on what it is, but it's like you don't stop, like, you don't stop everything that you're doing. It's not like, oh, you cast guidance on somebody so that they get to add a few points to their ability checks. So because you're concentrating on that, you can't do anything else. You can't move, you can't whack a monster, you can't cast another spell that doesn't require concentration. It's like if you're concentrating, you're just stationary. It's like just because you're concentrating on one thing doesn't mean that like the rest of your life ceases. Nothing else stops. And maybe because this is harmonic resolution, maybe because harmonic resolution is our flicker here, it's like if you're bringing something to resolution, just because you're concentrating on maybe a certain outcome that you want, or at the very least something that you no longer wish to continue to experience, it's like it's to not be so narrowly focused on that one thing that you can't, that it's like it takes you out of the game. um it's like to not be so focused on, uh, I don't know if I'm I don't know if I'm like I'm trying to think of metaphors and I'm like, oof. So we're just gonna pull them out of thin air. Okay. So it's like to not be so focused on like where's my metaphor? Like I have one in my mind, but I can't put words to it. Like I can't put a situation to it. So it's like it's to not be so focused on one thing that you become oblivious to everything else. Right. It's like let's say that you are, I've been watching Ugly Betty. Let's say that you are in charge of like a photo shoot or something. And there's a specific photographer that you have in mind that you want to book, and that's the only person. But for whatever reason, they're not available, or they're not available at a price that is within the budget. But like, let's say that you have someone on your team who might have come up with the concept for the photo shoot, but you have someone who like understands it and is also very talented, and like could that person in all actuality could do a better job or could take better pictures than the photographer that you have in mind because they like get the vision. And this other photographer is someone that you're gonna like hire in because they take good pictures in a completely different genre, and you think like if they can do that well, then they should be able to do this well, and maybe they can, maybe they can't. But it's like the one that is right there already. If you're too focused on this other person that you overlook them, it's like you just missed out on the magazine, the article. being the cover, being the best that it could be. It was actually better with who or what you had available. And then also for them, it becomes an opportunity where they get to, it's like because of the scale, it's like because of the scale of circulation. Eve, hi, how are you? It's because of the scale that you want the best of the best photographer. So, like, it makes sense. But that, because you have someone right there who is like perfect for that, that's like also meant to be their opportunity. That's meant to be their big break. And so it actually benefits everyone involved. You get something better than you would have gotten had you gotten what you wanted, had you hired your photographer. Like, you get pictures that are actually better. Because the pictures are better, it circulates more. The person who's there, who's been like pitching ideas, now since they get to shoot it, and like it circulates, their name gets out there. So it benefits them for exposure, for the opportunity to do what they want to do full time. And then for the other person who's not even available, it works out for them because now they don't have to reject you, for one, or they don't have to try to do all of this, whatever, number two. Like, it's that kind of energy. Like, we can't be so narrow minded that we actually miss the point. But instead of narrow minded, again, it's concentration. You're working from home? What? Wait, how much longer do you have to work? You should be done soon, right? I worked today. I worked a half day today. I told my boss, I was like, hey, I was expecting to get my hours this week. She was like, oh, like, there's like stuff in here that you can do if you want to work a half day. I was like, thank you. And then life happens. Life has been like very, very interesting. Friday too? Wait, what? So do y'all not get like New Year's Eve? I guess a lot of people don't. We get Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, and New Year's. But since Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve fell on the weekend, we get last Friday and this Friday. Are you at least working from home Friday, tomorrow? Oof. If you got to go in just New Year's Day, okay. If y'all got to go in tomorrow, somebody better bring like pizza or something. Like a carry-in, we're bringing pizza, we're bringing, all this stuff. Oof. But yeah, that's the thing with this concentration. Like, did I even read this? Oh no, it's in the other book. What was this? It illuminates your situation. Oh, did I show you this? So like there's this wand thingy, which is one tool. And then there's this focus. That's the focus. And that's why it's like it said unfocused energy. Release any unfocused and distracting mental chatter. Also, mental chatter can be detrimental to the because concentration is important. Mental chatter can eat away at concentration. Oh my gosh, I love water cooler chat. Have I not told you about my cubicle fantasy? I mean, okay. The part of me that gets into like the cubicle fantasy part of me loves water cooler chat. When I actually go to work, sometimes I don't mind it. Other times I am a little like, okay. So maybe I wouldn't actually love my cubicle fantasy in real life as much as I do in my fantasy world. In my head, I love it. Oof, 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 oof. It popped years ago. Well, maybe. I feel like it depends on the person. I've had some very interesting water cooler chat. It very much so depends on the person and the topic, you know. There are some people who like aliens and stuff and spirituality and other stuff is part of like, water cooler chat. For that, it's cool. When it's like sports, 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 I'm like, yeah, go Tigers. Oh, it's right there, Light Star. Excuse me. So there was something about the focus because it's the star. This almost looks like a star. It all is that a star? You can see the infinity on it, but it looks like a star. And again, that is the spread, right? So it's almost like this magician is pulling on its brilliance. And like a genius would be called brilliant. That could be called brilliant. Also, I feel like it's like playing into that Merkabah energy that was coming out in the SKT Revelations with the Keeper, with the Hanged One, with whatever that other card was. Um, oh, that makes sense. Like when you have stuff to, like when you have stuff to do, and you're like, okay, I'm trying to get back to work so I can leave. I'm kidding, but yeah, that makes sense. Excuse me. Well, I'm glad you got to work from home today. Hopefully, you get to work from home tomorrow. And I get to see you. Or I guess you get to see me. I'm kidding. Another reason why I love the Magician being here, it feels like the Magician is a card, especially because of the focus. It feels like the Magician is a card that could appear literally anywhere. Meaning that, because again, each time we build out a new radiant arm of the star, we integrate it with the light that we've already gotten. Also, kind of like the adventure card that came out yesterday, the Magician is a card of like what you do. It isn't necessarily a card of like what is done for you or what is happening around you. The Magician accounts for the environment that it's in, but the Magician operates completely outside of it. Meaning that it's like, let's say that there is a yeast shortage. We've been in this metaphor before. We've been in the world of this metaphor before. Um, and when we were in the world, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my train of thought. But when we were in this world before, there were the farmers, and there was a shortage of grain or bread or yeast. And so they couldn't, like the bread that they used to make, they could no longer make. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, one day, speaking of unexpected sources of support, there's like a fisherman who happens near the village, and he's like, you are next to bountiful waters. You need not starve. Like, y'all can fish the waters. And then there are the people who initially like learn to fish to feed the village, but they don't necessarily like it until there are those, it's like the actual fishermen, the people who will eventually end up holding that as an occupation are malnourished, are unwell. And so they don't do it. The bakers who want to bake the bread are out catching fish. They bring in enough fish steadily enough that overall, like health goes up. Now the fishermen are well enough to go out and fish. Now the bakers can get back to baking their bread. That was the metaphor before, or something like that, as far as I remember right now. But today, in today's metaphor, with the magician, it's like it doesn't matter if there's a shortage of yeast. It doesn't matter if there's no water. It doesn't matter if the fields are barren and there's no rain. The magician has the capacity to account for whatever discrepancy exists in the environment. The magician pulls on internal resources to make a certain outcome or to create a certain outcome regardless. So it's like that's why the magician, or how the magician exists outside of the world or the environment, because it doesn't matter what's happening. The magician still is resourceful enough, connected enough, adept of skill enough to still create. And again, that's another reason why it's like this energy, it's like as we go like lighter and lighter and lighter from key to key to key, getting more and more and more brilliant, I could see the magician like anywhere, because literally that is the source, that is the focus of the magician's power. So as we go through it, the magician will be able to get like more and more focused, because right now it's just like a ball with one radiating arm, and then we'll get another radiating arm and another arm and another arm and another arm, and eventually it'll be the full star. But as of now, it's just the staff. Now the stave has like another focus on it almost. So right now, but this is like an external focus. This is the internal focus because it's the star of the insight that we're building. This is the external focus. This external focus can like focuses are used to concentrate ether into mana that can be managed, right? It's like there is ambient magic in the environment. It's the focus that draws enough of it together that it's like, let's say it's hydrogen gas. Well, yeah, let's go back to our catalyst. Let's say it's hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. The focus will both catalyze or catalyze the creation of hydrogen dioxide, gaseous hydrogen dioxide, right? It will both cleave the bonds of the hydrogen to hydrogen, oxygen to oxygen to let the hydrogen bond to the oxygen, but it will also like condense, coalesce that water, like that gaseous water vapor, into liquid water. So it's like if you were to see, we have our inspirational creation. I noticed her on the back. We have our inspirational creation, right? So let's say like that's the focus right there. But let's say there was another focus, and both of those foci were like the single thing, because this one focus is doing multiple things, right? So this is like the water, the oxygen and hydrogen gases coming together. This is the creation of the like gaseous water vapor. And then at a certain point, it's like it starts to actually build into like water. If you've seen some of the anime that I've seen, like, you know, the image that is in my mind. But it's like that's what a focus does. It gathers like ambient, dispersed magical particles and puts enough of it together that you can actually do something with it, right? Anyway. Eventually it may reach the point, and again, it's like there's the archbishop, arch wizard, arch whatever, like with the various levels of concentration, but then it goes even beyond that. So like it feels like there's going to be a point where the magician doesn't need the staff, where this will be more than enough to do anything. that this magician would need. In the beginning, because this is just a single dot, because its radiance has not been established yet, this does most of the work. In the beginning, it may be mostly external. In the beginning, it may be like external validation that something mentioned progress. Was it harmonic resolution? In the beginning, it may be external validation that lets you know that you're progressing, right? It's like, I was manifesting this and I got it. Oh my gosh, this stuff really works. Maybe it's like the validation phase. It's to prove to you that it works. And then after you know that it works, it goes into like a subtle phase. So maybe it's not as externally synchronicity, bing, 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 bing all the time, but it's to like go a little deeper. And then you'll work back to that external validation. It's almost like there's a phase where you switch from, there's going to be a point where the internal radiance rivals what this external tool can do for you. Because it's like the focuses the energy. All you have to do is like concentrate on the focus a little bit so that the focus, like to activate the focus. Otherwise, the focus is just like always sucking up, ambient, I don't even know what I call it, ambient magical particles. But it's like there comes a point where like they match, and then a point where this one exceeds, and then that shift and transition of personal power from one that is externally validated to one that is internally motivated. Even though, again, like there's always an internal motivation and there's always going to be an external validation, but the degree to which may change a little bit. I feel like something mentioned progress. Maybe not. So I didn't even read this. See, I don't even need it. I'm going to read the book anyway, though, because I could be wrong. There are just like there could be multiple ways to interpret and to read, right? So I'm going to read The Magician. I don't even know if I've ever read this book. There's nothing you can't accomplish. The fairies are magical and can help you manifest whatever you need in order to be a success. The resources you require will just miraculously appear. Money, innovative ideas, creative abilities, or friends who are willing to help out. Understanding what you already have versus what you're in need of allows the fairies to send you the perfect gifts. You have amazing skill and creative talents that you can rely on. However, it's also wise to seek out good advice from experienced people. Allow others to open doors for you, make introductions to those who can point you in the right direction. Our magician has accomplished his climb to the Glastonbury tour, where he accessed additional wisdom and protection. Now he is walking along the easier part of the path toward the base of the mountain. Additional meanings of this card: take charge of your life, the ability to do anything, success due to excellent training, the talent to accomplish great things, visualizing your hopes and dreams. And just like that, I already forgot, the energy of prestidigitation is back. Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation being the spell that novice spellcasters use to practice. Because it mentioned excellent training. I feel like there were parts of that again, it doesn't matter if there's no yeast, if there's no grain, if there's no water, the magician can account for any discrepancy in the environment, but the magician has to be aware of what it is that they're missing if they were to do that. Like, imagine that there's no water. I don't even know how to make bread. This is what I might know about how to make bread, okay? But imagine there is no water and the magician isn't aware of that. And so the magician's just like adding yeast And it's like you already have enough yeast. You don't need more yeast. You need water to make the grain into a dough. So it's not just powder. You have powder and yeast. Powder and yeast does not bread make. There's water that comes in and it does the thing. It's like, when you add salt to your food before you even try it, how do you know how much salt to add? You're just going off of the assumption that there's not enough, and then it may end up being way too much. So maybe that speaks to times where we may not even have to do anything. So it could also be, it's like a power of presence to be aware of what the situation is now. Whereas we may more easily fall into what situations have. It's already been 55 minutes and 50 however many seconds, and I'm only on key 2. It's fine. Key 2, K2, South Node is in Libra. Oh gosh, it's fine. I'm fine. Anyway, so key 2. I lost my train of thought. I'm surprised I kept my train of thought earlier because I thought I was going to lose it when I started talking about what the metaphor was last time. What was I saying? What was I saying? It's going to come back to me. I don't think it's coming back to me. I don't think it's my brain just went. It's time to move on. Presence, the power of presence. I think sometimes, there we go, I got it back. Sometimes we can get so used to something like being missing or something lacking. We can get so used to accommodating for something that we can enter new situations accounting for or accommodating for or in ways that we don't even have to. Again, the easiest metaphor is Eve. But we don't work together, So sometimes it's water cooler talk that gets you through blank. Fill in the blank. I'm just playing. But yeah, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I get it. I get it. Like I said, there are some people where I love the water cooler talk. There are other people where I'm just like, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, what? I'm like, please stop talking to me. If you weren't talking to me, I could be listening to music, or I could just sit in silence. I could work in silence, and it would be better than this. Anyway. We are. See, I was trying to remember that word last night. It's a word that it's not cohabitating. What's the word where it's like you do your work and someone else does their work, but you do it together. So it's like you're not working together, but you're like working in the same space, and it's supposed to build like productivity and stuff like that. It's not cohabitating. It's not co-working. Because I remember seeing the word and I'm like, I don't see how this word applies in this situation. But we're doing that, whatever that is. That's what we're doing today. Kind of, in a way. So yeah, the easiest metaphor for that is the salt. It's like you get That's funny. I mean, if the word was cohabitating, then it would make sense. I know it's not co-working. Is it co-working? I'm pretty sure it's not co-working. That was funny. It's cohabitating. No, I'm kidding. The easiest metaphor is the salt. It's like you're used to people not seasoning your food how you want it to be seasoned. So you start adding salt before you even taste it. But then one day you go somewhere and your food is way too salty and you're like complaining and you're furious and you're outraged and you're the one that put all the salt in the soup. Like it was seasoned to your liking. If you would have tried it before you dumped a bunch of salt into it, you would have known that. But you didn't because you were stuck in your habits that were the result are the result of previous culinary experiences. Excuse me. But like that's the power of the presence of the magician. The magician has to be acutely aware of the present circumstance when manifesting an outcome. Like how you add in all this yeast because it's like every other time people needed yeast. They needed yeast. They didn't add enough yeast. They didn't have any yeast. They were just putting grains and water together and it wasn't rising. Um, and it's like, no, but these people need water. You're adding yeast. You're giving them yeast. You're not even listening when they're like, it's not working. You're like, well, did you use the yeast I gave you? Here's more yeast, more yeast. It's like, girl, they need water. And if you had the capacity to just like actually listen, you would know that they're saying we don't have any water. You're like, oh, you don't have water? I thought it was yeast. No. Now y'all gonna make me look up this word. I mean, when I first saw it, I was like, I've never heard this word, and I've only seen it a handful of times since. Google word for when you work together on separate things. Co-labor? No, I think this is still collaborate. Oh, what is that word? I could ask Liz and she would know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like it's when you work. It's some new millennial thing. I don't know if it's a millennial thing or not, but it's a word and it means to like, I'm working on my thing, but you're working on your thing. But it's like we're not working together, but we're working near each other to be productive, to like keep each other accountable or whatever. What is this word? Cohabit. It's not cohabitation. It's like co something. Is it co working? No. It's fine. I don't think I'm gonna. A word. I'm just not gonna say. So, working on your thing. Working on my thing in the same space. Missy Elliott, work it. Okay, thanks. I don't know. This is gonna bother me. It's a word. There's a word for it. Okay, I'm not. It might just hit me, but there's a word for it. So yeah, there's a power of presence to this magician. Now, moving on to, it's not collaboration because like collaboration is when you work on the same thing. But it's like if I have my remote job and you have your remote job and they're like two completely separate jobs, but we meet up to both work on our separate things together. Like that's the work, but it's like because like with collaboration and stuff, it's like when you're like working, like we're both on it in the same company working on the same project. It's like some new, maybe it's like a post, maybe because there are so many remote jobs, or maybe because people are more and more and more doing like hybrid and remote work. It's like it's a way to kind of get a co-workery type feel, even if, oh my gosh, I could do that. Hold up. Is that the answer to my problem? It's not a problem because I don't have it yet. It's co something. And like it doesn't, to me, it didn't sound like what it would be. And now it's like it's on the tip of my brain. Cause I know exactly like it was Liz. Liz posted on like a story or something. Is it co-working? I feel like it I feel like it maybe it is co-working. Well, I because I put in co-working space near me and it didn't necessarily give me like a definition. It is co-working. I guess it is co-working. Okay. Co-working offers social opportunities, networking prospects, and general human interaction in place of the isolation of working strictly from home. There's a lot for employees to love about co-working, but why is co-working space important? Is it literally co-work? It might literally just be co-working. It might literally be co-working. Because I was like, what's the difference between hot desking and co-working? Maybe it was co-working because I was like, but like a coworker is like somebody that you work with. So like you're working with someone that you don't work with. Maybe it was co-working. I mean, co-working is the best. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is co-working. Co-working is an arrangement in which workers for different companies share an office space. It allows cost savings and convenience through the use of common infrastructure such as equipment, utilities, and receptionists and custodial services. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was literally co-working. Why do people love co-working? Co-working spaces offer a flexible work environment, allowing people to work on their own terms. Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Eve. I think it was co-working. I could be a I could co-work. I basically co-worked in school that one semester. Like I would like hang out with Sonny and Sonny would be doing like his, I mean, I guess that's pretty common in school, especially like if you co-work with people that you don't have classes with. Like he would be working on his classes and I would be working on mine. And that worked. It worked a lot better than trying to study with the people I was in class with. But that's besides the point. Oh my gosh, Eve, we should co-work together. Let me give me a little remote job or a hybrid job. I'm just playing. I mean, key three, ignite. So, key two, our starting point was the magician. The starting point is like always the magician. Yeah, yeah. I was like, but I remember seeing it and I was like, co-working, what? Like, because in my mind, co-working was like when you work with your coworkers. But co-working, it was like looking for somebody to co-work. I was like, what? You're what? Don't you have coworkers? Okay, yeah. Thank you. Key number three, the third insight, ignite. This is your initiative fire, momentum, and motivational key. So the initiative fire, momentum, and motivational key is the Eight of Michael. You can be free. Make a courageous choice to change your situation. It's also not seeing things clearly. The Eight of Michael is the Eight of Swords. But there's something because I spent so much time talking about the environment. Make a courageous choice to change your situation. But it's like before you can change your situation, you have to be aware of your situation. If your situation is not enough water and you're adding yeast, you're putting in efforts that ultimately don't change your situation. It's like you're doing a whole bunch of work, maybe exhausting yourself, and it is kind of for nothing. What did this say? Understanding what you already have versus what you're in need of allows the fairies to send you the perfect gifts. So now let's go over here to Michael. I remember when I first got this deck, and Michael would pop out all over the time. Michael would pop out all over the time. Michael would pop out all the time, all over the place. And I was like, "Grr, go away." I know that I need to do the things that I need to do, and I don't need you to constantly tell me. Like, let me pull some cards and not be reminded of the things that I already know. Anyway, hey David, how you doing today? So, 8 of Michael, you can be free. You may feel as though you're trapped in your situation, but that is an illusion. You have to look past your fears and open your eyes to the opportunities. The ways to freedom may scare you due to a lack of confidence, but you can ask your angels for courage. Soon you'll find that you're much stronger than you realized. Commit to changing your circumstances and then believe in your ability to move forward. Additional meanings of this card: lack of confidence in one's own power, not seeing things clearly, self sabotage. The first key was the magician, which is all about your power. The next insight reveals a lack of confidence in one's own power and not seeing things clearly. There was also, like, obviously, there's the, like, you don't know how salty a dish is until you taste it. So you can be adding salty on top of salty, which makes it way too salty. But it was, what was the phrase? Unfocused. And this harmonic resolution, because everything ties back to harmonic resolution. Unfocused and distracting mental chatter. You need to acknowledge some of the lower level emotions, hidden negativity, frustration, and confusion that may be a factor right now. Release any unfocused and distracting mental chatter. Breathe deeply and diffuse excessive mental and emotional energies to regain your balance. I'm trying to look at this gate. So the way that I'm seeing this right now, there's this open gate, right? And this person is trying to move forward. There's one hand that is clasping this half of the gate. Because, like, a gate is both. Like, this is one gate. Like, this isn't a gate. And this isn't two gates. It's like a half of a gate. I don't know. Like, one hand is clasping it and the other hand is like, oh, I'm free, but the other one is like hanging on. So this could be a frustration at not being able to move on, but there's something that she's still holding on to. But on the side where she isn't holding on to the gate, her foot is caught in this, like, snare, in this trap, in this ring. But her other foot, is that a ball and chain? Well, there's a, oh, maybe not. I can't tell if there's a ball and chain on the other foot. This other foot was giving me mobility energy, but it's mobility on the side where it's like it can't let go. And that is really emphasizing that line in here to me that was uh, the ways to freedom may scare you due to a lack of confidence, but you can ask your angels for courage. It was that part, or I was inspired by that part. So here again is Archangel Michael telling you to be in your own power. Stop relying on me to handle trivial things that you can handle. It's like trivial Michael, Archangel Michael, sorry, no disrespect. Trivial Archangel Michael, but these are like heavy. These are like burdensome. Archangel Michael is like, those are things that you can handle. Or those are things that are for you to handle. There's a difference. There's a difference between the things that we can handle and the things that are for us to handle. Just because we can doesn't necessarily mean that we always should, but there are some things that we are the only ones. There are some things that only we can do for ourselves. Oh, it's the starting point. That makes sense. I feel like this key too is such a giveaway key, but it's literally the starting point. And again, it's because I can see the magician sitting anywhere in this spread. It all depends on, I guess, who we are as that magician. It depends on what resources we have access to, what resources we're willing to use, our ability to be cognizant of the situation that we're in, to gain clarity by perception, by perceiving, by being present in the now instead of like 15 layers and trauma deep to the point where it's hard for us to see that the situation that we're in now is completely different than the one that we were in before. But we're in our habits, we're in our patterns. That's very, for me personally, Queen of Swords in reverse energy. The Queen of Swords in reverse is the one who has been in the game for a long time. And when she first got into it, maybe she wasn't like respected by her colleagues and peers. Maybe she was like overlooked, or she was expected to do lesser when she was much more capable. But there was a determination to her that never gave up. And so she reaches a position that is reflective of her, not her potential, but it's like she reaches a position that's a match, and she gets the respect and stuff like that. But it's like if she works in a place, or if the environment changes to the point where like she doesn't have to overcompensate anymore. Not overcompensate. Yeah, I guess it is overcompensate. She's not overcompensating for something that she doesn't have within herself. She was overcompensating because of challenges in the environment. It's like I know who I am, but you're not going to listen to me. Okay, so I'm going to have to be a little louder so you can hear me. Type energy, metaphorically, right? You're going to act like you don't see me. Well, I'm going to do so much, and I'm going to insert myself everywhere to the point where where you have to acknowledge my contributions. But it's like, when the body doubling, that's what it was. I'm pretty sure that was it. Thank you, Gertrude Lee. I was like, what is this? And I'm pretty sure it's body doubling. Let's see. Let's go to Google. Now I'm like, wait, is it? I'm like, yes, it was body doubling. But now I'm like, wait, was it body doubling? A unique tool for getting things done. What? ADHD body doubling is a productivity strategy used by individuals with ADHD to finish possibly annoying jobs. Body doubling is a tool some adults use to help them start and complete projects, sometimes referred to as an accountability partner. It is a technique for better productivity. A body double is a friend or partner who works simultaneously, either in the same room or virtually through video chat platforms. That's what it was. It was body doubling. And I was like, what the freak is this? I was like, body doubling? Is anyone interested in body doubling? I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, Eve, we're body doubling twinsies. I'm kidding. Thank you, Gertrude Lee, and welcome. Yeah, I was not going to get there. I was not going to get there at all. But just like the magician card said, Gertrude Lee is my little fairy friend who brought the perfect gift that I would not have found. Okay. There's almost a burp. It's right there. Excuse me. I need to stop drinking this. So the third key insight, initiative, fire, momentum, and motivational key. It's interesting that it's like this, the magician is our starting point, but the 8 of Michael is almost where we actually start because this is the initiative fire. And it makes sense that it's at ignite. So this is what is like striking to, like, there's ignition, but ignition doesn't necessarily there's a difference between ignition. Like ignition is something that like lights something for something to be ignited, but does it remain just because it's ignited doesn't mean it's gonna stay lit, basically. Type of energy. Have y'all ever heard of body doubling? Anyone outside of Gertrude Lee? Because I was like, white body doubling. Does that catch anyone else as off guard as it caught me? Because I was like, I had to look it up. I was like, what is this with body doubling? What is this talking about? I'm looking for somebody to body double with me at the gym this week because my workout partner is gone. Who's trying to body double at the gym? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. I'm kidding. Just kidding. So yeah, it's in like this feels like it's our actual starting point. And that was the thing because it was like, this is the internal power. This was the internal motivation. That was the external validation. It's the focus on this wand that congregates, aggregates, convalesces. I like that word. We're going to define that word. Hey, Google, define convalesce. Like out loud, please. Hey, Google, define convalesce. Google don't want to read. Recover one's health and strength over a period of time after an illness or operation. That is not what I wanted. Hey, Google, define convalescence. Define convalescence. Time spent recovering from an illness or... Am I not using the right word? Well, obviously I'm not using the right word. What's that? Coalesce. That's what I'm thinking of. Coalesce and coalescence. Coalesce, come together to form one mass or one whole. The puddles had coalesced into shallow streams. That's the word I wanted. We're all about the co-words today and body doubling. Coalescence. The focus on top of the staff is able to coalesce like ambient hydrogen, oxygen, water vapor, other things, and to condense it so it goes from gaseous water to physical water. It's like, and all you have to do is hold it and concentrate on this, and it will do it automatically for you. This, it's like that would be when you have to mentally bring the gases or the atoms together. And that it's given me so much like isekai energy, isekai anime. It's given me the energy of someone who has an understanding of science in this world, who gets transported into a world where magic exists. And for magic to be a thing, you vision yesterday. Haha, lol. Was vision not? No, vision was the seven of pentacles, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, um, it's like you imagine a thing and then you use your uh, mana to make it happen. Like imagine a ball of water and then a ball of water forms. And there's like that level of magic. But when you get these people who have an understanding of science, instead of imagining water forming, they're imagining, like, again, hydrogen and oxygen atoms creating water molecules and then more and more and more. And it's those who have an understanding of science that have a more powerful magic, right? Because there's a deeper level of understanding of the process rather than just imagining the outcome. And maybe that's another thing here too, with the magician not being so narrow minded, with the ability to concentrate on something but still go about your life. Like, just because you have to concentrate doesn't mean that you can't hold a conversation, doesn't mean that you can't swing your wand at an enemy or whatever. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. Um, but it's like when you have a deeper understanding of the process, when you understand the forces that go behind it, rather than imagining the outcome, you are imagining the process. And so it gives you a finer, it's like it gives you a finer amount of control, but it may not be actual control. But like for a magician, knowing is more than half the battle. For a magician, knowing may be the majority of the battle because they're just like it's their ability to receive or to stand perfectly positioned is so innate and effortless. Like, just tell me what I need and I can get it. Like, if tell me what I need and I can get it is the energy that you sit in when you manifest, then the majority of your manifestive labor, manifestational labor, will be becoming aware of the situation. Type energy. And then again, with the Eight of Michael coming out first, it's like initiative, fire, momentum. This, if the Eight of Michael is the momentum, it's like the Eight of Michael is stagnant and it's denied something. Fire that is denied air will not long burn, will not long live. So the initiative, and it's the motivational key. The Eight of Swords is the motivational key. I guess there's also a way to read this where, again, because anger is here, anger and negativity are the first two keywords of harmonic resolution. It is dissatisfaction. Sometimes it is anger. Sometimes it is disappointment that causes us to go for something different. Very Abraham Hicks, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want type of energy. It's disappointment that teaches you what it is that you actually want. So in that way, this could be actually motivational. In that way, this could provide momentum rather than like eating away at momentum. But also, it feels like that can only do so much at the same time. Because it's like if you have a whole bunch of momentum, but you're not getting anywhere, there's not enough traction between the wheel and the surface. So you don't move anywhere. You're just like spinning your tires. Again, potentially putting in a whole bunch of effort for little to no outcome, little to no change. Now, that would be an awareness of the environment that needs to be had. It's icy, so there's no traction. So you keep spinning your tires, or like it's not gonna help. Friction is such an interesting force because it eats away at, diminishes momentum, but a certain amount of friction is needed, right? So in a way, it's like we need to be realistic enough, aware enough of the real world in our environment, that like we need to be grounded enough that we can actually move, but not so subjected to extreme gravitational forces, not to be so stuck in the muck and stuck in the mud that we can't move. So it's this fine sort of line almost. Key number 4, blaze. This insight is necessary for creating positive change on the quest. So, how do we give ourselves enough traction to move forward? How do we become aware enough, but not so helpless or powerless or consumed by our circumstance that we can't see a way out of it? What is our key to positive forward momentum? Isolation, loneliness, reconnection, and home. This is not the card I expected, but this plays into the current thread between readings on this channel, I guess, which is the one of darkening the light. It's to, before you take an idea out into the world or before you go and do something in front of others, it's coming into a mastery internally. Like getting really comfortable with it yourself, basically, before you go and open yourself up to the opinions and viewpoints of others. Because while it is important to seek out wise counsel, like the entry for the magician said, it's also important to know, just like I said, there are some things that are for us to do for us. And there are some things that, we can do, but we don't necessarily have to. Um, there are some things that you receive in a way that are going to make sense to you. And other people may not have necessarily lived the life that you live or have the background that you have, the context that you have to get the same meaning and the same interpretation. So if horses for you symbolize power more than anything, and like willpower because, they're fast, but horses for somebody else symbolize like freedom. If you're seeing a horse in your dream, it may be for you to like dig your heels in and to use your power to gain momentum, like horsepower, right? But if you're talking about someone else and they're like, oh, freedom, well, you don't like your job, right? So quit your job, be more free. And it's like, but that's not what the horse meant for you, because that's not what horse means to you. Sometimes you don't know. Horse, what's that? Let me go to Google or let me go to someone who is very reputable who can interpret dreams. And they tell you, and sometimes again, it's for you. Sometimes it isn't. With isolation being the way forward, I would say it may not be. Whew, I will be right back. I gotta go potty. I drank too many liquids today. Whew, I drank way too many. All right, I'll be back. This is a short intermission. Enjoy the OBS logo. am back. You know, these bathroom breaks are just as much a part of the stream and live experience as anything else. I think it's because when I was a child, I established the bathroom as a place for breakthroughs and stuff like that. Meaning, I would take my Game Boy to the bathroom when I had to use the bathroom. And eventually, the bathroom became a quiet-ish place where I could just intensely focus on trying to clear a level and then beat it. And then it came to a point where if I was struggling with a level, I would intentionally go to the bathroom. So now sometimes I go to the bathroom in the middle of the stream and I have insight. And also because I'm a Pisces, there's a lot of water in the sinks and the tubs and the showers and the toilets. So it works. Anyway, there's a thing of isolation too. And because this is the 8 of Michael and pulling on the Archangel Commander, there's something for us to learn about us. Because this is the Magician, there's something that is for us to learn about our power, our singular, solitary voice. I'm pretty sure harmonic resolution also mentioned isolation. Excuse me. Harmonic resolution resonates to the thickness and heaviness of the lower dimensions. This can cause disturbance and scattering of energies and over-identification with emotions of frustration, anger, isolation, and confusion, which disrupts the auric field. I'm going to pull on over-identification because while we are all connected, insert beliefs of Patrick here that may not be necessarily, that are most definitely not reflective of even a majority of people, let alone the collective. But I think sometimes we can go so hard into the we are all one that we lose our individuality. We lose the beauty and the magic and the miracle of us being a singular experience of the divine, even if we are all collectively a piece of its dream, right? My particular experience still matters. My specific, isolated, singular, solitary existence is of as much importance as the whole thing overall, right? There's nothing extraneous or wasted. It is all important. And it helps. So it helps with the over identification with isolation, but isolation is it's still a thing and it still matters. It's so important. We don't want to be overly identified with it, but we also don't want to be completely oblivious to its existence or its validity. And I think that's why it's coming in here at number 4, sorry. At number 4. I'm still going to read it though. I don't know if this is going to give me what I was wanting, or I don't know if this is going to get me where I'm going, but I'm still going to read it. 4th key insight necessary for creating positive change on your quest. Isolation. Isolation is loneliness, reconnection, and home. Isolation resonates to that of unification with mental powers and emotional insights of the soul. This sacred ray prompts us. It's connected to the violet white color ray also. I didn't read that. Harmonic resolution is connected to the lavender red color ray. This is the violet white color ray. This sacred ray prompts us to awaken hidden memories that spark a matrix of inner soul and universal brotherhood. She's giving me exactly what I wanted. I was way too quick to discount my girl Light Star this time. I was like, isolation, I ain't never necessarily had this soup, but depending on the other times I've had isolation, it was giving me an energy that this, what's on the table, ain't giving me. And Light Star said, why don't you taste the soup before you add a little salt? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is? Why don't you practice what you preach? I'm like, okay, girl, all right, you right. Let me start from the top then, because I ain't give her what she deserve. What she deserves. Isolation resonates to that of unification with mental powers. And again, the magician up here was all about, having clarity, being mindful and present of the current situation, just as the Eight of Michael can miss certain things. What does it say? Not seeing things clearly. And again, it's interesting that isolation brings us clarity. But it's less interesting because the flicker of this is transmutation. Transmuting negativity, transmuting anger, transmuting undesirable outcome or negative circumstances into something positive and desirable. Isolation resonates to that of unification with mental powers and emotional insights of the soul, to align the mind and the soul. It's fine. Oh my gosh, I see the synchronicity. Do you see the synchronicity? If you're not watching this live, you might be. If you're not watching this live, you might not see it, but there's a little hidden gem right there. I could tell you what it is, but I won't. Because if you're not watching this live, then obviously it's not for you. Not everything has to be for you. You know that? Not everything has to be for me. Not everything is about me. There are some things in the world that exist for people who aren't me. And I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? There are other signs and symbols and synchronicities for you. Isolation. Either you're here for this experience or you're not. We ain't got to make it a good, bad thing. It just is what it is. And again, with the magician from the Mystical Manga Tarot. All right, see you later, Eve. I'm probably going to be here for a while, so. I could just end it. Eve's not here, so I'm leaving. Bye. You get half a star. I'm kidding. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I hope that tomorrow goes smoothly for thee. Excuse me. Isolation resonates to that of the unification with mental powers and emotional insights of the soul. This sacred ray prompts us to awaken hidden memories that spark a matrix of inner soul and universal brotherhood. This supportive ray helps bridge a telepathic reunion to the soul's true home, encouraging a sense of communion with fellowship and love for all of creation. There is a familiar connection that wants to come into your life, a connection where you may feel deja vu. If you are feeling a sense of loneliness or have been desiring a reconnection with your tribe or Soul Star family, this is a good time to make intentions to reach out and connect. The truth is, you are never alone. All you need to do is to contact home, and your Soul Star family will show up with open arms. Time to stop hiding and get involved in community. I love that when we get to blaze, when the fire is healthy enough, it's time to stop hiding. See, this will be the point where there was the metaphor, because there was so much Aquarian energy, like winds are fixed at 50 kilometers per hour. If you have a sputtering candle, it's going to go out. Don't put it outside. Don't leave the window open. Close the doors, because the wind will snuff out that candle. But once you feed it and it's a healthy blaze, the air outside will actually fuel it, will emblazon it rather than snuff it out. Type of energy. Companion crystals here are snowflake obsidian and mookaite. Companion essential oil is vanilla. Okay. I was like, I've seen vanilla somewhere. It was at work. It was vanilla, 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 vanilla. And I was looking at vanilla. I was like, do I highlight that? I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? Now vanilla pops up. Cool. So, interestingly enough, isolation is necessary for creating positive change on the quest. I was going to look at something else. I feel. Oh, this energy right here. The Knight of Raphael. Committed romantic relationships, being swept off your feet, situations or topics that make your heart flutter. It's that being swept off your feet. It's that someone coming in a very like loving way, maybe romantic, maybe just like deeply emotional, aka like familial. We did just have a full moon Cancer. Um, but it's like the first little bit of this played more. And it's how I set the cards down too, because this is to the right. That's where the King of Spring sat, the unexpected supporter of your cause. But now with this isolation and like what it opens us up for, now we're going into the side of the Knight, excuse me, the Knight of Raphael, the Knight of Cups. So, shine, the fifth key insight containing the inspiration needed for transformation. The inspiration needed for transformation is the Seven of Spring. Is this our minor strength energy again? Seven of Spring, Seven of Wands, Seven of Fire energy. Be assertive. Don't back down from what you believe. Courageously stand up for yourself. So I love how over here, it was like, if there's something that you're struggling with, you know, pray to your angels and they will give you the courage. 2 steps later, it's stand up for yourself. You got this. You don't need this. You don't need this. You don't need whatever. That card also came out last time I was live. The Seven of Wands came out under the Magician. The Seven of Wands won it for the Magician. The Seven of Wands beat out, no, that was the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Wands came out right before the Seven of Swords, and it was the Hierophant, the World, and the Eight of Cups. And then it was the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, Seven of Wands. Or was it Ace of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Wands? I think it was Ace of Pentacles first. Because I'm pretty sure on the Ace of Wands, she was looking like that. Like this. But at the bottom, they were like that. She was like cheating. Anyway. The Seven of Wands did just come out. That was like the first time as minor strength that came out, but it just came out, I'm pretty sure, last time I was live. And was it about like holding your ground? I can't remember. Containing the inspiration needed for transformation is something that you have to do. Courageously stand up for yourself and be assertive. At this point, though, we're at key 5 out of 7. You are math percent. Hey, Perry, how you doing? You are math percent. Google ain't even talking to me. Hey, Google, what is 5 divided by 7 times 100? 71.42%. Why is Google not talking? I don't know. Google has fallen silent. You are 70% lit. And according to the spread, 70% is your threshold at which you assertively stand up for yourself. Courageously. Don't back down from what you believe. And I love this because, again, like isolation was the darkness that was protecting the fire. It was that, like, if the winds are blowing 50 kilometers an hour, Don't take your sputtering candle outside or it's going to be snuffed out. But and the blaze of isolation, once it becomes like a healthy blaze, winds of that speed and of that strength and magnitude are only going to emblazon it. It's going to feed it rather than snuff it out. So at that point, take it outside. Reveal your inner light. This would also be crossing the threshold that we set here. I don't know if I caught this, but with the Eight of Swords immediately following the Magician, there are things within the self that cannot yet be seen. So at that point, we rely on the staff to accomplish things for us through its automatic ability to coalesce and to condense ambient magical particles. Where it focuses that energy for us rather than us focusing. At this Seven of Spring, and the Seven of Spring has an energy of complete brilliance because there are only 7 keys here. And here is a 7 of, pretty sure 7 of the element of fire. 7 is all you need. I guess there are multiple iterations of this. It's like it unfolds into more and more and more rays at a certain point. Unfolding into more and more and more rays, almost giving me the energy of like the 1,000-petaled lotus. Is that Ajna? I feel like that's not Ajna, but it might be. A 1,000-petal lotus. This is not giving me. Here we go. It's the crown chakra. The most common Sanskrit name for the crown chakra means 1,000-petaled. It would make sense that it's the crown chakra. You know? That's why I was like, I'm pretty sure it's not Ajna because 1,000 petals is pretty high for like the heart. I think Ajna is the heart. I don't remember. This energy center controls our connection to spirit and our sense of universal consciousness, wisdom, unity, and self-knowledge. The unity that isolation leads to. So I did just say you only need 7, according to this magician. It's already given us crown chakra energy. This is why I didn't need the energy oracle cards, because crown chakra energy is literally right here, and I didn't need a crown that says Archangel Uriel, 7th chakra. I'm just surprised because I know that there are chakras beyond the crown, like the soul star. Didn't Reem just talk about, was it in her Virgo reading that she talked about the chakra above the crown? It's interesting though, because isolation mentions soul star family. Right? Soul star family. Reconnection with your soul star family or tribe. The soul star chakra, as far as I know, it's been a hot minute. The soul star chakra is above the crown chakra. And this is shine. This is when we start to eliminate that which is without. And again, this is the point where we're entering the phase where the internal motivation of this focus is more than enough. The magician doesn't need that staff anymore. And again, we're only on step 5 out of 7, which is again 70% complete. 7 being like the mystic, 7 being the point at which the inner secrets are revealed. Um, like at the 7, that's when you find out that there are forces behind forces. The 7 is the hydrogen and oxygen, where before that, the 6 is imagine a ball of water forming. And that's how you cast water ball. Or imagine a flame sputtering, flickering, and then blazing, and that's how you cast fireball. But it's the 7 that goes combustion is a reaction, right? You have your carbon dioxide, and combustion is when carbon dioxide turns into carbon monoxide and oxygen gas. It has to be. Let's see. Ooh, girl, because my chemistry is rusty. I feel like Sagittarius is all over this today. But there are a lot of energies all over this today. We're talking anime, we're talking science, we're talking magic. Combustion reaction. Oops. Combustion reaction. Where's my formula? Fuel plus O2 yields CO2 plus H2O. Girl, I got that all the way backwards. How did I get that all the way backwards? How? And I was literally just talking about how oxygen feeds the fire. What is CO2 to CO? Carbon dioxide. I'm going to just put CO2 to CO. Equation. The process for CO2 to CO conversion that is widely in use currently occurs at elevated temperatures, 400 to 750 Celsius, and the presence of the equivalent amount of hydrogen is necessary for driving this reaction forward, making it an energy intensive process. Similarly, another source for the production of carbon monoxide is water gas. Like, why am I'm like envisioning a formula. It's like CO2 yields CO plus, and I know like it's not always complete. Like, I feel like it wasn't always efficient in a blast furnace. In blast furnace, during reduction of iron oxide by carbon monoxide gas, carbon dioxide gas is generated. At higher temperatures, the carbon dioxide, or the carbon dioxide is thermodynamically not stable. Thus, it reacts with the carbon of coke present in vicinity and forms carbon monoxide again. When combustion of carbon-based materials place, maybe that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I was thinking that kind of combustion reaction, where it's like you have an organic. It would be organic, yeah. You have like something organic, and then it breaks down to like carbon monoxide plus like ash or whatever. Anyway, yeah, this is combustion. That's what I was talking about. Oh, carbon-based materials, so yeah, organics. Carbon monoxide, CO, is formed when combustion of carbon-based materials take place and there is not enough oxygen to create carbon dioxide. When there's not enough oxygen, it creates, instead of CO2, it creates CO because there's not enough O. That's what it was. Goodness. All right, Holly. Perry's here if you want to say hi to Perry. Did you say hi to Perry? I'm glad to hear it. Joyously jubilant in life. I'm like trying to get the cogs to turn today. Why am I on combustion reactions? Fuel plus O2 yields CO2 plus H2O. And then there's the energy intensive. How do I go forward? It's like it's so easy to go back, but going forward is difficult. I don't know if I can. It's fine. And when there's not enough oxygen, it'll give carbon monoxide rather than carbon dioxide and the absence of oxygen. Isn't carbon monoxide, don't they have like carbon monoxide detectors? So it's like if there's not enough oxygen. Okay, anyway, where were we? I feel like I may have gotten lost on that tangent. But yeah, it's interesting that like we're at step 5 out of 7, 70%. Oh, because I was talking about the fireball. That's how I got on that. It's like when you can imagine or when you can envision the carbon from one thing being shed and it meeting the oxygen and generating that carbon dioxide, then it gives your fireball a power that is on a scale that is leagues above that of the one that just envisions the candle that becomes the campfire that becomes the sun. And then again, that plays back into the archmage, archwizard, archbishop. And it's not to focus on a hierarchy. It's not to focus on like this is higher or better or more advanced than that, but it is to illustrate potential and the realization of potential. It's to illustrate what a concentration that can be held that doesn't stifle life can do. To be able to concentrate on one thing, to be able to concentrate on one thing and to be completely absent from everything else is of certain benefit. To be able to concentrate on one thing and still engage with the day to day is of more benefit. And to be able to concentrate on multiple things at once is of even greater benefit. And it's because it gives you presence in multiple like areas, arenas, directions, but it doesn't dilute your being. Right. So it's like you get a say. Your opinion matters more and more and more and more and more and more ways and arenas because like you're here all the time. We know that this affects you. You gain some kind of knowledge and expertise. You know the ins and outs. You know how it can affect others. Like, okay, right? Not just like, oh, you've never been here before. You don't know absolutely anything about anything, but you watched a TikTok once. Okay, your opinion matters just as much as and more than the people who are here day in, day out who actually know what's up. It's like you heard somebody say something and it made sense to you, so you're going to run with it. And now you think that you should come in here and be able to run stuff. Not to say that anyone's opinion doesn't matter, but there's a certain amount of like it's presence to be present and aware of not only the now we're getting into whatever But it's like not only of the present circumstances, but like when you can to hold presence over time is to give one a greater idea of like the season cycles and fluctuations, right? Like let's say that you are from somewhere sunny and equatorial that never gets any snow, and you're like, okay, you go to Alaska, or it can be Alaska, but it doesn't. You go to a place where they get snow, Antarctica, Canada, you know, and you experience autumn for the first time, and you're like, oh, these trees are like starting to do whatever. So, like, what you want to do is you want to do this and this and this and this, because you know where I come from, our trees are glorious year round. Not to say that they are in the tropics, I don't know, but let's say that they are for the sake of the metaphor, right? But it's like, so you experience autumn and you're like, oh, you need to do this, 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 and this. And then winter happens and everything is barren and you're like freaking out. You're like, oh my gosh. But the people who are from there, like they know come spring, everything is going to come back. And come summer, it's going to look like what you're used to it looking like. For the one who's never experienced winter, who is completely unaware of the seasonality and cyclical behavior patterns and nature of something, in a very realistic way, it's like, should their opinion on what to do in the winter hold as much weight as the one who's lived through many winters? Now, the thing is, when we come over here into where we shine, where we stand up for ourselves, there's an energy of a potential to catastrophize. Because again, for the one who's never experienced winter, it can look like the end of the world, right? Like first the leaves changed colors and that was cute, but then they started to fall. And now everything is barren and nothing grows from the ground. What do you eat? Like, what do you mean nothing grows? Like, and I think that's also, so there's like a double sided or a doubly intended nature to this Eight of Michael. Um, but more so than the Eight of Michael, it's a safety of the staff, right? Because I think sometimes it's like if we consider an outcome that we don't want, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I imagined or I, for a split second, thought of an outcome that I don't want. Oh, my manifestation is gone. It's never going to happen. Now I'm going to be miserable forever because that's what I put out into the universe and I didn't mean it. And it's like, girl, like it's like there's a safety, like there's a threshold. Like everything isn't going to fall apart just because one day you had a question or it was a little rough and you had a little bit of doubt. Now, a little bit of doubt plus a whole lot of action absolutely has the potential to set you down a path that you don't want to be on. But at that point, it's mostly the whole bunch of action that was the result of a little bit of doubt that may influence an outcome, but it's not necessarily doubt itself. Who is this? I'm on Discord, or not Discord, I'm on Steam. And I'm getting notifications about friends that I don't even remember playing games. So it's like on that hand, like it's beneficial. But when you get over here, and again, it's like it's an energy of catastrophizing. It's like, oh my gosh, winter is coming. Like, and it's not like, it's like an end of the world. The world is ending because the trees are barren and nothing is growing and we are all going to starve. But again, it's just like, it's completely understandable. It's a situation that one has never been in before. But it's like, it's part of the season, it's part of the cycle, it's part of the nature. That's like presence maintained over time gives you an awareness the seasonality of things. Anyway, key 6, radiate. The sixth key insight of integration, all previous insights are gathered. And we have the 2 of Gabriel. Make bold and ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision. And in this, it's like they're emerging from the darkness, right? It's like the darkness is behind them. They're coming out to the light. It's also, so this side is all fire. There's air on the right side. The magician, no, the fool is air. The magician is Mercury, which rules air and earth. On the right side, it's all fire. 7 of spring, 2 of Gabriel, the 7 and the 2 giving us the 9 of wands, giving us moon and Sagittarius, giving us the pugilist, giving us the card that held the space of the crossroads, that Hecate-like energy, the full moon in the back. I haven't been seeing the 2 of wands as much though, which is interesting. So this shine is to be seen. Is this, what is this? Because this is radiate. Oh, that's why. There's an energy of like movement and an energy of expansion and an energy of momentum, but mostly movement and expansion in this 2 of Gabriel. So to shine is for something to be luminous, for something to radiate is for that light to travel outward. And it's like, that's why here, like they both have this energy of like being decisive, making choices and decisions. One of them, the 7 of spring, is like, stand up for yourself. Don't back down from what you believe. It's a more stationary energy. This one is, it moves. Bold and ambitious choices, great progress is possible. I don't know if I ever found the card that mentioned progress. I don't even remember when I was like, wasn't there something that mentioned progress? Wasn't something talking about like progression or movement? Excuse me. Here it is at 6 out of 7. Radiance. So all previous insights gathered here. Where's my book? Where is the book? I don't even think I read the 7 of spring, which is fine. The 2 of Gabriel. Raphael, Gabriel, here we go. 2 of Gabriel. You're making great progress. If you're experiencing a pause in the action, then it's time to reassert yourself and get things moving again. Be bold and ambitious. You may have a choice to make. Don't let indecision keep you from going forward. The right choice won't come from your mind, so follow your heart. Important relationships are possible right now. Partner with people who share your outlook and passion. Additional meanings of the card, long-term vision, business partnerships, showing great courage, and then happy friends or relationships. It says gay friends or relationships, so you know. Hey, Anubhav, I am not today, sorry. But just because you can't get one from me doesn't mean that you can't get one from somebody else, potentially. But yeah, I'm already like 2 hours in and trying to finish this. Something else I did I read the 7 of spring? I'm pretty sure I did actually read it because this also mentioned relationships, did it not? Maybe I didn't read the 7 of spring. No, I didn't. What mentioned relationships? Isolation mentioned relationships. Where is it? There's a familiar connection that wants to come into your life, a connection where you may feel deja vu. If you're feeling a sense of loneliness or have been desiring a reconnection with your tribe or soul star family, this is a good time to make intentions to reach out and connect. What was that part? Familiar connection that wants to come into your life. And then there is important relationships are possible right now. I wasn't going to read the summer spring, but I'll give it a read. It's healthy and normal to stand up for yourself. Don't allow others to talk you out of your beliefs or opinions at this time. Your thoughts and feelings about what is the right thing to do are exactly spot on. This isn't the time to back down or compromise. However, it is a good time to pay close attention to all that's happening so that you can learn from the situation. Don't allow people in power to intimidate you. Assert your rights. Sign petitions, call your local government, or attend rallies to demonstrate that there's strength in numbers. The fairy in the image is dressed in red to show her passion for her mission, and her stance signals that she will be quick to defend her beliefs. So yeah, that being the shine, that being what comes after that also, it was giving me something. Where was it? Revolution. That's what it was. It's the revolution of yesterday. Now, in this being assertive, courageously standing up for yourself and not backing down from what you believe, because again, harmonic resolution is at the heart of this. Gaian awakening is at the bottom of the deck. It feels like now there's a change in transmutation it starts here at the Seven of Spring, and then it moves forward, it expands, it radiates outwards with key 6 radiate 2 of Gabriel. Are these two dudes? It did say gay friends or relationships, but I mean, I read it as like happy. You know what I mean? I'm like, obviously they don't mean like homosexual, right? Oops. But if we read it in that way, it could be like emperor meeting emperor. Yeah, gay friends or relationships. And it is like, a little bit of a rainbow and two dudes coming out of the darkness. Are they holding hands? I can't tell if he's holding his hand. Or like, see that, like right there, there's something going on behind that arm. I'm just, let me stop. So before we're told to radiate, shine, expand, we are instructed to like know what we stand for and to not back down. There was something that was like it couldn't gain traction at the 8 of Michael. It was isolation that was the friction that grounded. Isolation grounded us within ourselves. The 7 of Spring grounded something into reality. There's like, I'm seeing like a pin. It's that Ace of Swords that was on the wall and the Page of Pentacles, the home of ideas. But there's something, it's like a toothpick and an olive and a sandwich. It's like isolation grounds us into ourselves, and then the 7 of Spring grounds us into reality. So now when we manifest, when we move from this grounded within ourselves and grounded in reality, things can like actually move, or things can like radiate outwards. Now, this is what plays on that power of presence. or um, that's something amplified by presence. Because again, it's like there's a difference. I guess it depends on the situation, right? Like for people that you trust, if there is someone in your life who has time and time and time and time and time again given you solid counsel, great advice, who has helped you and been there for you, been an invaluable resource to you, and there is some stranger who, or somebody that you know, and you know they don't have your best interest at heart, and they're like, for whatever reason, they're not really supportive of you. And it's like if they try to tell you what to do or if they give you advice, it has a different level of impact than the one who, like, you know, is there to help you. And it's like it's that groundedness into reality from a grounded space within self, again, that gives a power and presence. It's what helps a word like go a lot farther rather than like, you know, someone who's just like blowing through town. And again, it's not to say that there aren't instances when you do need a fresh outside perspective, because in that case, then of course, obviously, you would listen to the one with the fresh outside perspective rather than the one who is rooted in a tradition of bygone days of a world that does not even like still exist. It depends on what the situation is calling for. So again, we go all the way back to the very first card, that is the magician. It's to be aware of your surroundings, to be aware of the situation at hand, and to know what it is that you need to add or compensate for. To know in which circumstances and situations what applies. Do they need grain? Do they need yeast? Or do they need water? It ain't just throw yeast at everything and throw yeast at everybody. I mean, like if you come from an area that ain't got no yeast, then like, yeah, when nobody had yeast because they didn't know that it made bread rise, then yeah, you know, if you want bread that rises, that is nice and fluffy, add some yeast. And people are like, oh my gosh, like yeast, it's a breakthrough. But then you go to a place where like they have beer, so they know all about yeast, but they don't have any. I feel like if you have beer, you have to have grain, right? Because like hops are like a grain, and they know about water. I'm assuming they would know about water. Maybe they don't know about like instead of fermenting things and the yeast, like the gas that yeast produces or whatever, fermenting, it's like you can get bread to rise. So like, yeah, you know, it's different in different environments and situations, and it's to be acutely aware of that. And that's like, especially when you get to the point of radiating, when you get to the point of moving out, and when you get to a point of taking your light forward, it's important to know in which ways it's needed, right? If ain't nobody asking for advice because they're all pretty comfortable and solid and whatever and they're good, maybe it's not for you to be there in that way, shape, form, and capacity. So the last key, lastly but never leastly, also, this is the part where you put everything in motion, right? All previous insights are gathered here at this key insight of integration. You integrate it and you move it forward. But again, it's interesting that it's like, it's not until even the Eight of Swords is traditionally a card of no movement. Isolation is separate and alone. The Seven of Wands, it's a card of holding your position of advantage. And in this isolation card, like the wolf is still and it's just howling. The magician here, like there's a little movement in the magician, but like there's no real, like his stride isn't that wide. So like, is he moving or is he just shifting his weight because, he's been standing there for a while. But here, their stride is a little wider, especially that guy. Like his other foot is all the way back there. This guy, eh. But there's movement here. When you integrate everything, then you move out. And again, there were different situations and different times where different things were beneficial. Maybe to get to this point, it was more beneficial to, like, while you're going through the mess, for people to see, like, oh my gosh, they're going through it too. Like, it was important. But maybe there are other things that are for you to, like, master before you bring it to the public. You know what I mean? To hone your craft in some way, to offer a service that is truly yours to offer. Not that, to serve the collective in a way that is more uniquely you. Even if you do something that other people do, it's like you do it in a way that is unique to you. And again, that's something that you approach in isolation. Isolation is all about learning how the divine works and moves through you more specifically. And then the divine will move through others in a different way. And it's for them, like there's an audience and there's a purpose and there's a thing for it. It's for whoever it's for, okay? Key 7, brilliance. It's the 7th key insight, raising the situation to full brilliance and wisdom. Not only full brilliance, but also wisdom. Crap, I just had a thought and I lost it. So at this point, our magician has definitely ditched the staff and is purely, honestly, the magician at some point can even ditch the focus, because the magician realizes that the real focus sits at the seat of its soul. And so it doesn't need that to do whatever either, but it's fine. Key 7 is challenges. Oof, we've seen this card. And I was like, I'm going to put it back. 6/19/25. Challenges speaks to blocks, fears, and negativity. Blocks, fears, and negativity, and also betrayal is challenges. Even the first time, I'm looking at this snowflake winter star that is like, maybe that's it. Because at this point, it's full brilliance. And maybe there's not another image that displays this as much. Yeah, this is full brilliance. So we go from radiating to like full brilliance, and you can see it radiating outward. You can see the shine. Like, it's given me very much like this full brilliance energy. Like, that's what we focus on. And then the waters that sort of pour forth from that star. There's a little bit of a waterfall behind it. There's a whole bunch of stuff here too, and I'm still gonna read it because just like Light Star didn't disappoint me with isolation, maybe she won't disappoint me with challenges either. Challenges, blocks, fears and negativity, betrayal. This is connected to the icy blue color ray. Challenges resonates to freedom from fears, negativity, and blockages. Residing in a denser dimension can cause, I already love it. Because at the very heart of this was harmonic resolution that talked about the thickness and heaviness of living in a lower dimension. Boom. When this is brought to brilliance, it's freed. It's freedom. Because why wouldn't it be? But this is freedom through power, willpower. because I talked about the horse being like willpower for you somewhere down. I think it was actually in isolation. The sign and symbol means something to you that it won't necessarily mean to someone else. And don't back down from your beliefs. But then when you bring this to full brilliance, you see where your belief intersects with another. So ultimately, the horse ends up being freedom, but it's a freedom that, again, it's gained through the way of your interpretation of your unique individual meaning of it. It wasn't freedom in the quit your job, abandon everything that is a hardship way. It was freedom gained through willpower and, staying power and all that. Seven of Wands, Two of Wands, freedom, not like Eight of Cups, Six of Swords. What's another card of like, is there a card of abandonment? Eight of Cups. Challenges resonates to freedom from fears, negativity, and blockages. Freedom from all of the lower emotions that we over-identified with, potentially in harmonic resolution. It has been resolved. Congratulations. You win. I mean, again, it was bound to be resolved ultimately anyway. It's just at what phase, at which step are we? Residing in a denser dimension can cause the lower self to succumb to fear-based emotions. This clearing and transmutational, when we're talking about transmutation and harmonic resolution, also the harmonic resolution that mentioned in over-identification with isolation. What? I love when these things are so self-referential. Also, the Two of Gabriel radiance sits across from the Magician. That meant something I forgot to mention. And the Seven of Spring sits across from the Eight of Michael. This is the second time I've seen the Seven of Wands energy sit across from an Eight. The first time it sat across from the Eight of Swords, or from the Eight of Cups. Now it sits from the Deserter. Is the Eight of Cups the Deserter? Maybe not. Anyway, first it sat across from the Eight of Cups. Now it sits across from the Eight of Swords. And something did mention the aligning of the mental. I think it was isolation. Isolation aligns the mental with the deeply emotional of the soul, or something like that. What was it? Unification with mental powers and emotional insights of the soul that sit across from the Seven of Wands, minor strength for me, energy. I'll start from the top and I'm going to read it. I'm just going to do it. I was going to say I'm going to read it all the way through without interruption, but it may be one, I might lose a thought if I try to hold it, and I can always go back to the top of the paragraph. So, challenges resonates to freedom from fears, negativity, and blockages. Residing in a denser dimension can cause the lower self to succumb to fear-based emotions. This clearing and transmutational ray assists the self in breaking free from uncertainty, negative thoughts, isolation again, and all emotions, preventing the soul from progress again forward. Emotional blockages and powerlessness are vanquished by this potent ray. A once cold and challenging existence is now replaced with light and faith in the power of divine intervention. If you are feeling blocked, afraid, or stuck, assistance is on the way. So hold on and don't succumb to negative thinking. Even when you feel trapped or stifled, there is always light surrounding your situation. Be aware at this time, someone in your life may be holding you back from your greatest good. All of these have mentioned others in your life, people external to you. Harmonic resolution and challenges in a not great way, but isolation in a way of like, in a more positive way. So I guess ultimately, like, be aware of people, but also like aspects and areas of your life that could use some reevaluation, but also be open to welcoming in um, those who align and match with where it is that you are and where it is that you're going. Again, giving me like a teetering Queen of Swords energy. Queen of Swords in reverse being the one who I've always had to assert myself in this way. So, and it's like, okay, but like, what about when the time comes that you don't have to assert yourself because you are acknowledged and appreciated, where you're seen, right? That's salty soup. But the Queen of Swords upright again, having that power of presence and the mental acuity to be able to evaluate, okay, this environment is different. So I don't like sword raised, you may approach the throne rather than sword, I don't know, doing sword things. Companion crystals here are Iceland Spa, and lapis lazuli. Companion essential oil is black pepper. I think I actually have Icelandic spar. It was given to me and it was cold. Anyway, it's fine. So there you go. Oof. 2 hours and 40 minutes later. Brilliance, the seventh key insight, raising your situation to full brilliance and wisdom. Maybe, definitely, by the time you reach brilliance, by the time you reach step 7 of this 7-step process, you can probably come into a certain appreciation of the challenges that you faced up until that point, right? Then you know, like, um, you can see how resistance and setbacks led you to pursue other pathways that got you where you're going. It's almost like it's like a maze. And was it you, Pat? No. Was it? No. Oh, Zanoni, Snowflake. That's who it was. I was like, oh, no, it wasn't Perry. I was like, was it? No. Was it? No. Zanoni Snowflake. When I was over in the UK and pulled cards from the Rockpool Oracle, I'm pretty sure she got one that had a labyrinth and a maze. And I'm pretty sure she said the difference is that like a labyrinth doesn't have dead ends. It is one single path towards the middle that may shift and change. But in a maze, you have all kinds of dead ends. Like that's one of the differences between a labyrinth and a maze. And there's an energy that's like when you get to the end and you realize that certain challenges and roadblocks basically like force you to take alternate paths. It's like you're in a maze and a path that will ultimately lead to a dead end. There's a block or a wall that comes maybe out of nowhere that prohibits you from going further. And it's like when the appreciation of the challenge after you overcome it is maybe a certain awareness of how that path would have led to a dead end anyway. So maybe at the time you were like, oh, I have to start all over. I wasted a year or 2 years, however many years, however much time, however many tears, however much energy or resources or effort. But it's like, which one of these mentioned divine intervention? Something mentioned divine intervention somewhere, but it's like it was a divine intervention that saved you from investing more time, more energy, more effort, more whatever. And it's like, again, when you overcome the challenge, you have the opportunity, you have the because it doesn't have to come to be, you have the what is it? The benefit. You have the benefit of a distance perspective. There you go. You have the benefit of a distance perspective to get you to see, like, oh, okay, like, yeah, that didn't work out, but because that didn't work out, I got to do all this that I actually like love or whatever, right? Again, it gives you a certain appreciation. What's at the bottom of the deck? Under the bottom of the deck over here, it's the Queen of Gabriel, passionate, charming, brilliant. Awaken the brilliance. No problem, Perry. Thank you for being here. Awaken the brilliance. Is that one of the pages? Or is that one of the aces? I have the deck right here. I would pull like before and after a Queen of Swords, because there is a little bit of a teetering Queen of Swords energy, like I already talked about. But the Queen of Gabriel is brilliant and independent. Oh my gosh, love it. You can do anything right now. Go after what you want. The ability to attract helpful people. This is your Queen of Gabriel that sits at the bottom of the deck behind the Knight of Raphael. Of the Archangel Power Tarot cards. Also, she's magic. I was like, there's something else about the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands is magical. And the magic of the Queen of Wands, it's almost one that radiates from the inside out. So again, it's this magician when they have gone from the focus, from the staff to the focus, from the focus to their internal soul, I guess. I don't know. When they no longer even need the external focus, where it just comes naturally from within them, that is the domain of the Queen of Gabriel. It's the Queen of Wands that nourishes and creates these lush, like sunflowers, and they're all like pointed towards her, like she is their sun. She is the source of their whatever. And then, of course, she still has her source. Obviously, she doesn't become God or whatever. But through that righteous steadfastness, and not righteous steadfastness in a zealous way, but righteous steadfastness in a way that is connect to the divine within you and stand in that truth. So again, like she's just granted some things, and some things just naturally come to her. At the bottom of the fairy tarot cards is the Ace of Winter. Don't be deterred by challenges along the way. And then we have challenges. Don't be deterred by challenges along the way. It's important to communicate clearly and accurately. Amazing new ideas that should be implemented. Cool. Love it. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's get final cards. Ooh. 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 Excuse me. Oh, fine. I am going to pull before and after Awaken the Brilliance. I don't even know if Awaken the Brilliance is in this deck or if it's in the Vitruvian. I was like, Heros Gamos popped into my mind. I was like, or if it's in the Heros Gamos edition, if it's in the Vitruvian edition. All I know of Heros Gamos is Alchemical Wedding. Oh, there was something else about. Let's just be. Hello.
Did you get my message?
I'm live right now. So. Okay, I'm back. Whew. All right. So I'm not sure if it's in the Vitruvian edition or the Revelations edition, but I know I'm actually going to give this a shuffle. I know that there's a card that says Awaken the Brilliance. And I am going to find it. If it's in here, I'm going to find it. If it's not, then we're not going to find it. I'm not going to pull before and after the Scarlet Shield because the Scarlet Shield doesn't necessarily, especially in the Revelations edition, we'll see, but she doesn't give me the same energy as like a Queen of Swords. But we'll see her attribution in this deck. So, all right, and then we'll split it right. Ooh, the Dynasty, 10 of Pentacles, flipped over when I was cutting the deck. I'm going to split it, and it whoop, revealed itself. Again, my favorite part, like there is something that blossoms in the void of the Kabbalah, Tree of Life. What was supposed to be void sees life. Cool. That is Mercury in Virgo. Going from the bottom of the deck. I'm literally just reading the bottom so I can see Awaken the Brilliance. It might be the Page of Wands. I think it's the Page of Wands. I think it's the Page of Wands. But if I only beat the bottom, how am I going to see? Yep, it's the Page of Wands. Awaken the Brilliance. Herald of the Flame. I should have known it was this card because I've seen it so often. I feel like, especially in this deck, this is the Herald that I see the most. Page of Wands, Herald of the Flame, Awaken the Brilliance. It is in between the High Priestess, of course, and the Tower. So in between the High Priestess and the Tower is Awaken the Brilliance. She had the Merkaba on her book. I was like, I saw something else with the Merkaba. I couldn't remember outside of the Keeper and the Outlaw, the Hanged Man. There you go. That's Awaken the Brilliance. Now let's find the Scarlet Shield just to see her association. If I already passed her, then it's fine. It wasn't meant to be. I just saw the outlaw, didn't I? I guess I didn't. I guess I did not. Oh, there's the outlaw with the other, like he's got a Merkaba on his eye. It ain't gonna focus, but there's a Merkaba. It might be the sun in the Vitruvian edition because I always thought it was the sun and the moon. There's an eye of the sun and the eye of the moon. Oh crap! I stopped reading the top. I'm just like moving cards. It doesn't look like I'm going to see. Here she is, Sanctum of the Valiant. So yeah, Sanctum of the Valiant is the Queen of Swords, Scarlet Shield in this deck. We see the snake and the eagle. Sanctum of the Valiant with all of this. Be assertive. Don't back down from what you believe. Courageously stand up for yourself. Make bold and ambitious choices and decisions. Overcoming challenges. It's like, okay, we get it. Be valiant. Be assertive. You can do anything right now. Go after what you want. Don't be deterred by challenges along the way. So yeah. There's something that's opening up to here. Because there's the gap. Here's the gap. But the gap isn't opening. And again, it's because there were some, like the void was kept void for so long for a reason. And then again, like here's the high priestess, the one who would know. There is the axe of Shiva and Shiva's Trishula. Everything that removes corruption. So, I mean, the void probably like this process of brilliance here is probably very important. It's energetically very important because energetically, anyone would not survive the void if they are not free of corruption. And this being free of corruption isn't necessarily like being perfect. This free of corruption is like free of external influence. We are all good and bad to various degrees. So again, it's not to be perfect, but it's to be like perfectly you, to be free of any external influence. Because, anyway, it's just energetically. It's like it may be impossible. I don't know how possible or how easily it is to attain full brilliance in this spread and these cards and still hold the fears, the negativity, the lower, to still be so bogged down and burdened down by lower dimensional living. But I also love that challenges, again, it's just like us navigating less unencumbered through lower dimensional living, which again, I feel like validates the feeling of like the pick in the olive. The olive is isolation. The olive is isolation. So we're grounded in self and then grounded into reality. But if we're not grounded in reality, again, it's like sometimes there may not be enough friction for us to move things. There may not be enough traction, and then the wheels just spin and 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 spin. Those wheels go round and round and round and round. A card flipped over. Oh my gosh, contemplation. Contemplation number 7, silence, knowing, and releasing control. Giving me Fata Morgana energy, but Fata Morgana energy in a way that's like, but that was the Fata Morgana. It's like it appears to be out of reach, but it'll settle. It's possible for it to settle. I just like love the piece of this contemplation after like harmonic resolution, negativity, anger, transmutation, isolation, loneliness, challenges, blocks, fears, negativity. And it's like silence and knowing I am suffering right now so that I may grow later type energy. It's the power of perspective. Oh my gosh, yes. This card came to mind. I actually, so the first time I did the keys of heaven and earth for the collective, when I tried to do it for me, the video cut out. I was like, fine, I'm not gonna do it. I tried to do it for the collective, the video cut out. I was like, what? And then I grabbed my laptop and I was like, okay, we're not gonna do that one either, but we'll start all over. Utopia was an energy that came out for the collective when my laptop shut off. That's why I was like, the frequencies are too high. Utopia at the bottom of the deck. The Fata Morgana like landing, what we may think is this impossible dream of a world at peace or whatever, is very much so a potentiality. Here it's given presence. Oh my gosh, look what's at the middle of it. Merkaba, what? Not the Merkaba. What? Not what? Really? What? For real? What? Of course it is. And then reflective truth under that utopia. We must become utopianic within to experience utopia without. And I'm not going to say that it's not by ignoring and bypassing and disregarding the things within ourselves and the world that we live in, because there are many paths and I don't even necessarily know any of them. I'm just some dude pulling paper, ink, plastic, colors, symbols, and all kinds of other stuff. Humaning on human land like other humans humaning on human land. We all just doing our best. We're all in this together. Gaian Awakening. I just split the deck. Gaian Awakening, Utopia. Oh, no, it's Gaian Awakening and Contemplation. Utopia. Here's Gaian Awakening. Here's Utopia. Oof. The awakening is still so far, but it's like halfway. Ooh, that's not halfway. Halfway is illumination. Illumination was like shine-ish, 6 out of 7. But illumination, brilliance, expression, positivity, and joy, inspiration. Emphasis on the positivity and joy. What did you say, Perry? Joyously something? Jubilantly joy? Or joyously jubilant? Joyously jubilant in life. There you go. That's what Perry said. I love that positivity and joy after the negativity, anger, lower emotions. That's like all of that on earth, right? It's when we can be all of that on earth that the imaginal, the mirage is given form, given substance. Boom, look at that. Anyway, I'm going to read Contemplation. Contemplation is our, I meant to timestamp final cards. I think it was like 256.56. I'm just going to timestamp 256.56 because I got that phone call. Final cards ish. 256.00. I think I remember seeing 256.56, but anyway. So, contemplation. Not destiny. Contemplation. Silence, knowing, releasing control. This image is connected with the Sedona colorway. Contemplation resonates to the quiet power that lies. Quiet power, minor strength, Seven of Wands. Okay, I'm seeing it. I'm getting it. All right, I'm there. Anyway, it's fine. Contemplation resonates to the quiet power that lies deeply within the soul. This beautiful ray of loving peace removes challenges, removes challenges. Cool. Love it. Of course it does. That's why isolation was the thing that moved things forward rather than isolation being the cause of further darkness, decay, despair. You know, again, like for whatever the assignment was today, I was intuitively so-called led and guided to this deck because Light Star with this work understood the assignment. I read isolation, I read challenges. I had a fear that it was going to take me in a direction that did not feel like it matched the energy, but that was not the case. Anyway, contemplation resonates to the quiet power that lies deeply within the soul. This beautiful ray of loving peace removes challenges and helps the soul turn to the higher self for answers. It gently allows the peaceful tranquility of spirit to divinely step forward. It is in this very place that all true knowing exists. No need to do, rather just to be. And living from the all that is as the primary place of rest and comfort, the soul finds its most restorative teacher. It is time to go deeply within. Only you have the answers you seek. You are being asked to quiet the mind chatter and do some form of meditation for peace. Take the path of least resistance. It may be time to take a much needed vacation or relaxing getaway. Quiet and stillness will be best for you now. Connected to blue lotus, sandalwood, and spruce oil. And then she's giving me that like, oh, she's giving me soul star energy. The thousand petaled lotus of the seven of spring. There's the crown. Well, that's kind of the third eye. Like, here's the crown, I guess. There's the soul star. Like, above the crown is the soul star. Soul star connected to this utopianic energy. Soul star, I guess, given form or an iteration, manifestation of that soul star being the Merkaba. Cool. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. That was like mostly divide. I'm very, very pleased, I guess, with how this turned out. If it resonates, take it. If it don't. If it resonates, take it. If it don't take it. Take what resonates as it resonates for you, which is obviously like with all of this is between you and spirit, your unique individual soul, the way that the creator manifested, created you and lives and breathes through you, that this message is very like general, like, I could be dead wrong. I could just be full of hot air. All of this could be a crock. Trust your intuition and discernment. Don't discredit yourself. But also, like the magician said, I mean, that was step one. Step 1 out of 7 was like, don't be afraid to seek out wise advice and wise counsel. Again, step 1, relying more on the staff than the focus, than the Merkabic internal doohickey thingy. All right, let's give it one more. Then we have the 2 of summer, which is 2 of cups energy. Falling in love or making a serious commitment to someone. Forgiveness and the resolution of a problem. Harmonic resolution. Harmonic resolution. Don't give up. Your relationship can be healed. This could be the relationship between you, can be the relationship between you and others, can be the relationship between you and the world, could be the web of the relationships of you and others, you and the world, and how they all interplay and intermingle. Bottom of the deck is the Empress. Time to take action, the power of creativity, success that allows for a life of luxury. Boom. She is at the bottom of the deck. This is like you standing in your worth very radiantly. Look how shiny she is. It ain't just the gold that adorns her. Her radiance, her beauty comes naturally to her. Oh, no, it isn't. Okay. I thought I saw something for a second. From this Empress state to a Cups. That's why it's so good. That's why it's so good. Oh, I can't believe it's been 3 hours. I guess I should believe it. Why can't I believe it's been 3 hours? What in my history of my career here would make 3 hours so outlandish that I wouldn't be able to believe it? Could you imagine if I pulled more cards to be like, this is what integrates it to previous steps? Okay. Now, Nine of Gabriel, when we have the. Oh, wow. I forgot these cards. Wow, wow, wow. Nine of Gabriel, when it was the 2 and the 7. Excuse me, of Gabriel. There it is again. The Nine of Gabriel. What is the Nine of Gabriel? Stay determined to move forward. Be prepared for any possibility. Environmental activism. Oh, the energy of circumstances has been heavy. Obviously heavy today because of the Magician. Probably also heavy the other day because of the Magician. But I feel like it really came up like the last time I was live. Circumstances as told from the Magicians. And the Magicians, there are things that happen that change the way. It's like first there's an abundance of magic. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, skip like 5 minutes ahead. First there's an abundance of magic, and then someone commits taboo and magic is shut off. And then magic is turned back on, but it's monitored by a central governing organization. And then it's like the moon gets destroyed. And when the moon gets destroyed, it throws everything out of whack. It throws everything out of balance. Or no, they move it. They move the moon. And when they move the moon, it throws everything off. So magic is unpredictable. And they talk about circumstances. It's like the circumstances are wrong. And so the laws, what was believed to be laws, were discovered to be like correlations. When the moon was in this position, this is how magic worked. But now that the moon has moved, it's so unpredictable. But there's like this major spell that they need to cast. And they talk about internal circumstances. When the internal circumstance is strong enough or present enough to override external circumstances, that's the energy of this Magician today, especially the Magician in full brilliance. When it doesn't matter what's happening in the world, when it doesn't matter what's missing in the environment, the internal circumstance partnered, and I guess it's also partnering. Maybe it was sacred word. Maybe that's what was giving me the energy of circumstances. It was a sacred word that cannot fall silent and it cannot return void. A sacred word once spoken must come to be. And in the absence of the knowing of sacred words, I guess there is the power of the internal circumstance. The internal circumstance working in a coalition with the soul today, because the soul was all over everything. deep emotions of the soul, truth of the soul, isolation to get in touch and tune with the soul. When the magician is in tune with the inner circumstances, again, it doesn't matter what happens in the external. The external at that point becomes irrelevant. But then that would go back to Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and the inevitable Gwen Stacy's. That even when we can't operate outside of external circumstance, there are still some things where the balance sort of like must be upheld. There are still limitations, I guess. So there you go. Two of Michael. Look at these two unicorns. Not only is there one unicorn, but there are two unicorns. And with that two of summer energy, also apparently on the two of Gabriel, everything's like partnering up now. They're like touching horns and creating, they're crossing horns, first of all, giving me two of swords energy from the Wadanon Tarot. But it's doing something with the sun. It's almost like it's bringing the sun down or some kind of light down. But we got these two unicorns giving me Pegasus energy. That Saturn moved from Earth's view. Oh, snap. It will all be better if you just make a decision, overanalyzing a problem and find a compromise. Decision energy is everywhere today. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Gabriel. Congratulations, you've done a wonderful job. Time to move on to the next project, awards, scholarships, or promotions. So congratulations, you won. Oh my gosh. Two of Michael, Six of Gabriel. If you're here live, do you catch the synchronicity? Let me stop. I just saw it, Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's fine. Hey, Yasmin, how are you doing? You have caught me at the end of a video. I am not doing, I guess the video is over. I hope you find someone that can answer your question, but it will not be me tonight. So, I hope you all have an amazing whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path journey and way you find in a way that's helpful, in a way that's beneficial. I hope that, what do I hope? I hope that, what's that song trying to play in my head? I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. No, I'm kidding. I hope that you can give you a chance. I hope that you can bet on you when the time comes. I hope that you find, oh my gosh, balance in whatever way you need. The King of Spring is still on the table. I gotta reshuffle this deck. The King of Spring said, oh, that's beautiful. The Two of Summer and the Empress. Okay, but you're not done. What do you mean? Thank you, Holly. I forgot that card was still on the table. Now the Six of Spring. Six of Spring, Six of Wands. Wonderful news is on its way. Smart choices that bring rewards, success, and public recognition. Congratulations. A job well done. In both decks. All right. We're going to do final card, please. Oh, there we go. It came out. Bottom of the deck is the Two of Autumn. We've seen the Two of Michael, Two of Swords, the Two of Summer, Two of Cups, the Two of Gabriel, Two of Wands, and now the Two of Autumn, which I believe is the Two of Pentacles. But let me confirm that Autumn is the suit of Pentacles. Spring, it has to be. Spring is fire, summer is water, We've seen all the twos. Interesting. Interesting. Autumn is the element of earth. And now we have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Autumn, bring fun into everything you do, juggling multiple priorities or jobs, and exceptional talent for multitasking. That exceptional talent for multitasking, because of the context of this reading, giving me the energy of the one who is able to maintain concentration on multiple things at once. Like beyond an archmage, archsage, archbishop, archpriest, archwizard, like to be able to maintain concentration on multiple things. Boom. That's, I guess, not the goal. That's a possibility. The Ace of Summer now has come out. That's the card that came out. Love it. Open your heart to love, the beginning of a new intimate relationship or the rebirth of a current one. The awakening of psychic abilities or spiritual epiphanies. The awakening of psychic abilities and spiritual epiphanies combined with this excellent ability to multitask, combined with that ability to concentrate on multiple things at once, and for that concentration to not be so easily broken that you still can't go out and enjoy your life. Have fun in everything you do. Cool. Love it. All right. And with that, all of the cards have found their homes in their boxes with their card friends, foes, neighbors, lovers, and all kinds of other whoever. And yeah, again, thank you, Holly and Perry and Eve and Yasmin and I forgot your name. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it started with an A. Anubhav, for being here. And I will catch y'all the next time I catch you. At this rate, it might be tomorrow. If I'm here tomorrow, I'm going to have alcohol. Okay. I have a bottle of mead that I need to finish. I might finish that tonight, actually. Anyway, I will catch you later. Bye. Thanks for stopping by. If you stop by, again, I hope there's something of resonance for you somewhere. And if not, I hope there's a discernment for you that it wasn't. Because if it ain't for you to take, don't take it. It ain't on me if you take what's not for you to take. It ain't on nobody, you know? It just happens. And when it happens, when we take things that we ultimately find out weren't for us to take, they still lead us to some kind of realization, revelation, inspire us to some kind of new resolution. It still has the potential to end up being for us, even if it wasn't for us. You know what I mean?